the teaching profession has been looked down on, which makes teachers lose their societal respect. So join me today as we unravel the controversial truth behind the teaching profession, the values of the teaching profession in our 21st century. I won't be doing this alone. I have with me Miss Grace Nkwocha. Am I correct?
Correct.
So let's meet you, ma'am.
So I'm Grace Nkwocha. I'm a teacher and also the CEO of Comms 360 Services, a communication and customer service training firm.
Wow, beautiful. You're welcome to Talk Your Mind.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start on this note. Should I say Happy Teacher's Day or what should I say? Because
Happy Teacher's Day.
I feel there's no reason why we should be celebrating Teacher's Day because I don't see anything to celebrate about.
Well, it's how do I put it? It's not a generic thing. It's personal. For me, I deserve to be celebrated as a teacher. So it's not generic. It's personal.
Okay, let's ask some questions. I want us to discuss about the values of teachers in this our 21st century.
Okay.
So I have some questions here. Some of these questions were actually dropped online by some of our viewers when they saw the flyers that were talking about the values of teachers. So I would like to read some of these questions to your hearing. So the first one said, do you think teachers in the 21st century still uphold the moral and the ethical values that once defined the teaching profession back then?
So that question, unfortunately, I cannot give an emphatic yes or emphatic no, because it's going to be unfair to some teachers who still uphold the values and ethics of our profession. For me to say no, for me to say yes, or they don't have they don't have values anymore, I would not generalize.
Well, I think we shouldn't be biased in answering the question.
Okay.
Well, that's why I put it 21st century. Mm-hmm. So you look at our surroundings, look at what is happening in our society, so give your answer towards that, because most teachers are not really happy.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I'm trying to say, that it's still personal. It's still a personal thing, because I know, yes, there's a high level of corruption in the country. Okay. But then there are still people who uphold a high sense of integrity. So this is why I would not generalize, and I would not say all of the teachers have lost their values. And I'm also not going to say that all of the teachers are unethical, because there are still teachers who would still do the right thing. I'll give you a classic, and let me use this as an analogy to answer this question. There is a high level of corruption going on in some schools, I must say, especially with respect to WAEC exam or practice in schools, and how teachers try to fast track the success of students, not letting them do the exams by themselves. It's a very common practice now. Now, there is a particular school that I was with, and we're going to write this particular exam, and I noticed that about 90% of the teachers connived, agreed, they worked to help the students, but 10%, there's some teachers in that space, that school, that still said no, they would not be a part of it. So in all fairness, I should not say all of the teachers have ethical issues. No.
Are teachers today more motivated by passion or by financial gain? I think this is a very important topic that we need to talk about.
A teacher's motivated by passion or by the profits or finance, I'm going to use myself as an example, So I got into the profession, not because of the money, but because I know I can impact and I know I can transfer knowledge. I can teach a dull child to learn. Because I'm like, so if I can teach a dull child to learn, why do I want to waste this experience? I went into the profession with my head. In fact, education is my first degree. I had a first degree that was not in education. But because I'm so passionate about education, I had to go back to school. I had to go back to write WAEC so that I can change from my first degree to English education. You can see how
when you mention this education or anything now, I was conversing with a friend, and he was telling me that he said during their time in the university, that even their lecturer told them that education, most people that actually came to university to study education was not their passion. Because they didn't get their first option, their first courses. That is the reason why they gave them education, which is not their will. So now you are saying you went back to study education.
So you say it's different strokes for different folks. This is why we should not generalize. I went with my eyes clear. I know what it is I'm doing. I know the profession is profiting. It's profitable. It is.
When we talk about profiting, let's also talk about the financial, because it's very important we talk about this, because passion alone will not put food on the table.
Yeah.
Things are getting more expensive every day. The economy is not smiling at everybody. And now you're talking about passion when you're supposed to be making money.
Yeah. But you can profit from your passion.
Okay.
So as a teacher, there is the business side of our skills. There's a business side of everybody's skill. But it's how well you package yourself. I always say that when you go to the market to buy toothpaste, there is My, there is Colgate, there is Double Harbor, there is Oral-B. So choose your market, so it's just depends. Choose what you want to buy. It depends on how you package yourself as a teacher. If you know you're very good at your craft, then nobody should cheapen your service. Nobody should. If you think, I always say this even when I was working as HR, if you think you deserve much more than what it is you're earning, show your worth and then go ask for what you deserve. And if you cannot find it in that space, there is someone that would definitely pay. Are people not buying Porsche cars? Are people not buying Lamborghini?
Okay, teacher have first Porsche car.
No. I'm just saying that people are buying Porsche cars. People are buying Lamborghini. People are taking their kids to the highbrow schools, right? And people are also taking their kids to the lowbrow schools. Unfortunately, I cannot talk down on these schools. So if you think your service is well deserving of the 6 figures, then go to the highbrow schools, sharpen your skills, as in package yourself, develop yourself so well in such a way that you can determine your price. Yes, you can say, oh no, I will not take this, I will take this one, I'm not going to teach in this particular school, I'm going to teach in that particular school. But again, it's very good to start from somewhere. So if you're starting with the lowbrow schools, start from there, gather all of the experience, package yourself, go for courses. Some teachers won't even go for trainings, personal development, but then those highbrow schools want people who are up there, so you as a teacher, try as much as possible to package yourself such that people can go on the shelf and pick you over a lower brand.
Okay, moving on. Do you think teachers have lost their moral authority, going by what is happening in our society or in the educational system today, where you see a teacher trying to correct a student, probably by flogging or by saying one or two things, and then you see their parents coming to school to rounds to fight the teacher, which is not part of the system back then.
Okay.
So do you think the teachers, they have lost this moral authority, or they still have it?
So if you mean moral authority to be disciplining the children in school,
because most of the children, they spend most of their time, as all the students, they spend most of their time in school.
Okay.
So more like the teachers, they are second parents.
Okay.
So if the teacher cannot correct them or train them the way they should be, then what's the need of staying from 8 to 4?
So maybe I should put something in context. I like to get deeper into information. I don't like to take information out of context or halfway. I think what the government said is that if you want to whip a child, it should be the admin, maybe the principal or a higher authority, not the teacher in the classroom, And again, whipping is not the only form of discipline. You can serve other punishments,
such as
maybe kneel down, go to that corner, deny them of that, maybe one privilege or the other.
Nigerian students.
Yeah.
And I do let child kneel down there.
Yeah.
And you think it will actually work?
Yeah, I think, because I don't whip. I very hardly flog, but I give punishments. I could tell the child, stand up, raise your hands. I could tell the child, okay, I'm not going to. So in fact, instead of me focusing on the people that I'll be punishing, I do rewards more. So, and I always say, okay, team A, you get 5 stars. Even stars alone, the children want to die for stars. They're like, hey, I got 5 stars, I got 6 stars. So the ones who are fapping in the class, you don't have a choice but to join the people who are doing the right thing in my class. Now, I have to be honest again, class size matters. So if your class size is 15 to 25, it's kind of manageable. So I don't want to be selfish, because I have been taught in a school where
like
60, 100, oh my God, that is crazy. Honestly, I know the government does it, but let me not say the government does it, because I really cannot, I don't want to say what I'm not so sure about, But if the class size is large like that and learning has to take place, discipline has to be enforced, But again, we're saying that you don't have to flog the children. They're saying if you want to flog, or if you think the child is becoming very naughty or indisciplined, take the child to a higher authority. So just move the child, okay, quickly get out of my class, go to the principal. They would treat your mess there, So if your school says do not flog, schools that usually say do not flog, somehow they have either in the classroom, especially small size classrooms, teaching abroad, because I have taught abroad as well, and I see that we have a lot of other distracting strategies, things that the kids can be doing that will help them calm down. But in Nigeria, we don't have that. We don't have that in Nigeria. We don't have TVs. We don't have hands-on activities. We don't have the reward systems that even with my money, I use my money sometimes. I say, okay, I give you guys chocolates. If you're so good, I give chocolate kids like chocolates, And I do different things. I can sell a bottle of Coke. Of course, I have to get permission from the school authority that, okay, I'm going to give these kids this rewards for doing this and that, So, but then some teachers may not have the luxury or that resources. I have been to a public school. When I went for my observation before teaching practice, as a particular teacher in a local school, she was giving them lunch money, 200 naira. See participation in class. Nobody was misbehaving. But I don't know how many teachers can afford that reward, So, but the issue of flogging, moral authority, let me emphasize again that discipline is not the only, caning is not the only form of discipline. The teacher can deploy other strategy, And I think, again, if the teacher has over time shown a lot of respect for him or herself, and, sometimes the children would just respect you by default, So just talk to them nicely and
okay. Well, when we were growing up, we were told that teaching is a noble profession.
Yes.
So people want to go into the noble profession to actually teach people to touch lives. Mm-hmm. But now in this 21st century, we're seeing teaching as a backup job. Okay. Because most people in that profession now, it's not from their church mind, let's be honest. Okay. They're actually chasing something, and once they grab that thing, they are off. Okay. So we have about just 2 to 3% of people in the teaching profession that actually wants to be there. Okay. Then now the question was, is teaching profession still noble as we're seeing it to be a backup job, or is it calling?
So again, I'm not going to generalize. I will try not to generalize, because there is something the Ministry of Education is doing now. If you are not a certified educator, you're not going to be in the profession at all. So I am in an environment, in my school, virtually all of the teachers, 90% of us are qualified teachers, educators, and the same for the government institution. Everyone is qualified. So if you're talking about schools where you have people who are not qualified, I would still say that teaching is you said if it's a calling, right?
There's a calling. That was used to back then, like.
Yeah. I still think
if you're a teacher then you have value, you are well respected. If you hear that your teacher is coming to your house back then, fear will just grip you. Like, what is my teacher coming to do in my house? Well, these days your teacher has come here. What is he coming to do?
I don't really think. I think we're going back in time. Initially, somewhere at some point in time, teaching was losing its respect. But now I think we're going back in time, because now more teachers are becoming aware. They're doing it because there is thing people don't know that we enjoy as teachers is liberty of time. Somewhat we have liberty of time.
We have liberty of time.
See, to an extent, so we could close at 2, we could close at 3. We have 3 to 6 to ourselves. If you want to go teach, maybe in private classes, it's up to you. If you want to go do extra business, it's up to you. So for me, it is still a calling, and it's still a profiting business. You can still profit from your calling. Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Let's go on a commercial break. We'll be right back for the Talking Mind section.
Are you ready to speak the truth, challenge the norms, and dive into conversation that matters? So let's talk your mind. On Talk Your Mind podcast, we bring to you real life stories, unfiltered discussions, and controversial questions no one else dares to ask. From society to culture, love to politics, Talk Your Mind keeps it real and relatable. Whether it's special guests, community leaders, or just you, Talk Your Mind is the perfect place to share your voice and opinions. So don't just keep it in your head. Say it loud, say it proud, and talk your mind. And don't forget, my name is Apaba Jessica.
Okay. Alright, welcome back. This is to Talk Your Mind, and with my boss here, here's Miss Miss, right?
Yeah, a Miss.
Chinenye Nkwocha, yeah. So this is the talk mind section. We have 2 questions for you. You have to talk your mind.
Okay.
I know you are an educator. But the first question goes, if you are opportunity to come to this world again, would you like to be a teacher?
Over. I said, I went back to school to do a second first degree. 4 years. Again. I would do education over and over and over again. I would teach, yes.
The second question, actually, if I ask that question, I already know the answer from the beginning. So this will make me want to change the question. And the second question is, if you are made Minister of Education, what is the first thing you would change in your probably first 1 month in office?
What is the first thing I'm going to change my first 1 month in office? It's a hard one, but I will. If it is anything at all, anything at all. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to change is the system of operation. I would try to digitalize everything. That's the first thing I'll do. I will digitalize the process from the funding that we receive to the very end of where the money goes to. I would digitalize everything so that there's transparency in disbursement of funds,
documentation as well,
and then actual utilization of public funds for the public. So I would digitalize everything.
Let's talk about teachers' payment.
Okay.
Most teachers are underpaid. This is actually striking. In fact, this is actually the main problem we are facing. Every other problem boils down to this problem.
Okay.
What you have to say about this? because most of the time teacher complains of being underpaid. Yeah. So that's why they are not giving in their best. They are not doing what they're supposed to do. And most times when I think public school are kind of exempted from this, but most times the private school.
Okay.
So what do you think should be done to eradicate or to cope with this particular issue?
Okay, so I will talk to school owners at this point and say to school owners that, your greatest assets are the people that are doing the job. Don't toy with these people. They talk behind you. They calculate the number of students. They multiply it by the number of fees. Just give these people good money. Pay them well. Pay them in a way that they would look at the job and want to come back and do it again and again and again, and also try to add benefits to it, give them benefits. Maybe after 5 years, if you work with us, you get XYZ stuff, or maybe you get a pension, you pensionalize their salaries and all that. But above all, pay your teachers well. Your business is a long-term thing, Pay these teachers, they talk behind you. They talk a lot behind you. We cannot overemphasize this conversation of paying. I know, yes, the owners might say, oh, there is no money. But you see the bad thing about this thing. They see the kind of posh cars you drive. They see the kind of houses you live in. I know, yes, you've worked so hard. Some of the teachers, the owners of the school would say, we've worked hard, we ain't going overnight, so they just don't want to come and all of that. But then the school owners should make it a conscious effort to pay well. If you pay people well,
what type of services?
To a large extent, they would want to be committed because they count. I do that too. Sometimes we count with like 50,000 times 250 students divided by almost every teacher does that.
That's true. That's true. So now, should teachers who are not passionate about the job, should they be kicked out or forced out of the job, or they should be left to at least fill in his face?
So when you employ, because I'm also a HR professional, I'm a CIPM certified professional. Now, what we do is when you employ people and they do not really either have culture fit or they're not like the best of the best. There's something called training and retraining. As a matter of fact, before I got my certification as an educator, I went for a job I was not an educator. I wasn't certified at that time. I wasn't in even education at all. But I was preferred to the teachers who were certified because it's in me. It's in me. So if you see teachers who are good, and they can still do the job, just try to train them and retrain them, and then encourage them to go back to school to get certification. Because if you take all the teachers out, we do the job.
Because there are more children everywhere.
Many children, yes.
Now, this thing that I want to ask, the viewers will admit with me that school owner does this a lot.
Okay.
Now, when it's time to compare, they will tell you, oh, look at this particular school, they are doing this in their school. They're trying to compare the teachers to other teachers in other school. Now, when the teachers now want to compare
salary
to other schools, they will tell them, oh, we've not gotten to the standard yet, we've not done this way. So why, when you know you've not gotten to that level yet, and why comparing your teachers to other teachers from other school, whereas when the teachers want to compare you now to them, now you start. What do you have to say to this scenario?
Okay, so first off, comparison is a thief of joy. Comparison is a thief of joy. Right. Don't go and start comparing the harvest phase with your seed phase. Your school is still in seed phase. You're comparing with harvest phase. You just cause rift and disharmony in the organization, in the school. So I would say that instead of comparing, you two find a standard. I would rather raise a standard and compare with my standard than comparing with another school. So you're an educator. You already know the goals and the objectives of education. If you don't know, go and check the National Policy on Education. It's out there. You already know the goals of education. Now begin to craft and design your programs around that space. You have to raise the standard. The person that is raising the standard, they have two heads. So instead of comparing and then putting your teachers under pressure, just to work with what you have. See how your teachers can be developed to get to your own standard, the standard that you have designed for yourself, and not really standard, because we need resources to achieve what the other schools are achieving. Yeah. So you cannot compare a school from maybe a low-brow school to a high-brow school. Resources that they use, they do a lot of functionalism in their school. The schools are usually hands-on. They do practicals. But the low-brow schools probably do not have the resources. And how can they be comparing? There is no basis for comparison. So what you should do as an educator or the school owner is look within, design your standards, and then build over time rather than compare your teachers. Truly, if I was a teacher, if you tell me maybe an Ivy League school is doing XYZ, me too, I'll tell you, Ivy League school is paying
before we call it a day, let me just ask this question. Okay. Now it's raising an eyebrow in some parts of our society now. In government school we have this body an association for government school teachers. But that's why they could go on strike when they are not being treated well. We don't have this in the private sector, but we do. I might be wrong, though. I don't know. We've not heard of it, so I think we should ask the question.
You just raised a suggestion that the private school teachers should have a body.
The body, yes.
Isn't it? Like the private school owners, because I know the school owners have the body. Then for the teachers, I don't know if they have for teachers, but I know the school owners also protect the teachers' interests somewhat. I think they also have, I think I've attended one or two of it. They also have an aspect where they protect the interests of teachers. Yeah. And then what about NUT, National Union of Teachers? National Union of Teachers, I think they also cover for
private sectors. But then, all right, thank you very much, Ms. Grace, for honoring our invitations. I think we've come to the end of today's section on Talk Your Mind. See you next time, next week to be precise. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.